The Marvelous Wheel, a tale of human ingenuity. Once upon a time, in a land of vast forests and rolling plains, there lived a clever young boy named Nuru. Nuru was a curious child, always asking questions about the world around him. He loved to watch the animals in the forest, and he often wondered how they moved so gracefully. One sunny morning, Nuru went to visit his grandfather, an old and wise man who had lived in their village for many years. His grandfather, known to everyone as Elder Tama, was sitting by the fire, carving intricate designs into a piece of wood. "Grandfather," Nuru began, "why do animals move so easily while we humans struggle to carry heavy loads?" Elder Tama looked up, his eyes twinkling with wisdom. "Ah, Nuru, that is a very good question. The animals have been blessed with strong legs and swift bodies. But we humans have something even more powerful, our minds. With our minds, we can create tools to help us." Nuru's eyes lit up with excitement. "Can we create something that will help us move heavy things, grandfather?" Elder Tama smiled. "Yes, we can. And I believe you are the one who can discover this marvelous invention." Encouraged by his grandfather's words, Nuru set off on a journey of discovery. He walked through the village, observing the people as they carried heavy baskets of grain and water jars on their backs. He watched the way they struggled, and he felt a burning desire to find a solution. One day, while wandering near the edge of the forest, Nuru noticed a fallen tree. Its trunk was round and smooth, and it had rolled slightly downhill when it fell. An idea sparked in his mind. He hurried back to the village and found his best friend, Asha. "Asha, I have an idea!" Nuru exclaimed. "What if we could make something round like that fallen tree to help us move heavy things?" Asha looked puzzled but intrigued. "What do you mean, Nuru?" "Come with me," Nuru said, grabbing Asha's hand. They ran back to the fallen tree, and Nuru explained his idea. "If we can carve a round piece of wood and attach it to something, we might be able to roll it and carry heavy loads easily." Asha's eyes widened with understanding. "That's brilliant, Nuru. Let's try it." The two friends worked tirelessly, using their small but strong hands to carve a round piece of wood from the fallen tree. It was hard work, and their hands were sore and blistered, but they didn't give up. After several days, they finally had a round piece of wood that looked like a wheel. "Now we need something to attach it to," Nuru said. They found a sturdy branch and carved a notch in the center of the wheel, then fixed the branch into the notch. "We did it," Asha shouted, jumping with joy. "But how do we use it?" Nuru thought for a moment. "We need something to carry. Let's go find a heavy basket." They ran back to the village and found a large basket of grain. Carefully, they placed the basket on top of the branch, balancing it between two wheels they had made. With great anticipation, they pushed the contraption. To their amazement, the basket moved smoothly along the ground. It was much easier to push than to carry. They laughed and cheered, running through the village with their new invention. Elder Tama watched them from a distance, a proud smile on his face. "You have done well, Nuru," he said quietly to himself. Word of their invention spread quickly through the village, and soon everyone was eager to try the new wheels. People began to use them to carry water, grain, and even firewood. Life in the village became much easier, thanks to Nuru's clever idea. One evening, as the sun was setting and the villagers gathered around the fire, Elder Tama called for everyone's attention. "My dear friends," he began, "today we have witnessed the power of human ingenuity. Thanks to young Nuru and Asha, we have discovered a wonderful new tool that will help us in many ways." The villagers cheered, and Nuru felt a warm glow of pride in his heart. But he knew this was just the beginning. There was still much to learn and improve upon. He and Asha spent many more days experimenting with different shapes and sizes of wheels, trying to make them even better. One day, as they were working on a new design, a stranger arrived in the village. He was a tall man with a kind face and a curious glint in his eyes. He introduced himself as Aran, a traveler from a distant land. "I have heard of your marvelous invention," Aran said to Nuru and Asha. "I have come to learn from you and share what I know." Nuru and Asha were thrilled to meet someone from far away. They eagerly showed Aaron their wheels and explained how they made them. Aaron listened carefully, nodding with approval. "You have done something truly remarkable," Aaron said. "In my land, we use wheels in many ways, and I believe we can learn much from each other." The villagers welcomed Aaron with open arms, and he stayed with them, teaching and learning. Together, they experimented with new designs and discovered even more ways to use the wheels. As the days passed, the village thrived with new energy and creativity. The invention of the wheel had transformed their lives, making work easier and opening up new possibilities. One evening, as Nuru sat by the fire with his grandfather, he looked up at the stars and wondered what other mysteries the world held. Elder Tama placed a hand on his shoulder and said, "Remember, Nuru, the power of our minds is limitless. With curiosity and determination, there is no end to what we can achieve." Nuru smiled, feeling a deep sense of gratitude and excitement for the future. He knew that this was just the beginning of his journey of discovery, and he couldn't wait to see what wonders awaited him next. As the village continued to flourish with the newfound invention of the wheel, Nuru and Asha, along with the traveler Aaron, found themselves constantly experimenting and innovating. They discovered that wheels could be used in many different ways, each more exciting than the last. One day, while they were discussing their ideas by the river, Nuru had another bright idea. "Aaron, what if we could connect more than one wheel together? Maybe we could create a cart that can carry even heavier loads," Nuru suggested. Aaron's eyes sparkled with interest. "That's a splendid idea, Nuru. We should gather materials and give it a try." The three friends worked diligently, collecting sturdy branches and strong vines to create a frame. They fashioned axles from the wood and attached them to the wheels, then carefully connected the axles with a strong wooden platform. "It looks perfect," Asha said, wiping sweat from her brow. "But how will we test it?" "We need something heavy to carry," Nuru replied. "Let's ask the villagers for their help." The villagers, eager to see the new invention in action, brought sacks of grain, pots of water, and bundles of firewood. They loaded the cart, and with a collective breath, they pushed it forward. To everyone's amazement, the cart moved smoothly, carrying the heavy load with ease. "This is incredible," one of the villagers exclaimed. "We can carry so much more now." The villagers were overjoyed and immediately began using the cart for various tasks. They transported goods from one place to another, making their daily lives much easier. The village prospered, and their fame spread far and wide. One day, a group of strangers arrived in the village. They were traders from a distant kingdom, and they had heard about the marvelous invention. The leader of the group, a man named Kavi, approached Nuru, Asha, and Aran. "We have traveled far to see your invention," Kavi said. "We trade many goods, and such a cart would be invaluable to us. Would you be willing to share your knowledge with us?" Nuru looked at Aran and Asha, and they nodded in agreement. "We would be happy to share what we have learned," Nuru said. "But we would also like to learn from you in return." Kavi smiled warmly. "Of course, knowledge should be shared freely. Come, let us exchange our wisdom." For days, the villagers and the traders worked together, sharing their knowledge and skills. The traders taught the villagers about new materials and techniques, while the villagers showed the traders how to build and use the carts. As they worked together, Nuru and Asha learned about the wider world beyond their village. They heard stories of great cities, majestic mountains, and vast oceans. Their imaginations soared, and they began to dream of new inventions and adventures. One evening, as the sun set and the stars began to twinkle in the sky, Elder Tama called for everyone's attention. "My dear friends," he began, "we have achieved something truly wonderful. Through our cooperation and shared knowledge, we have made our lives better and built strong bonds with new friends." The villagers and traders cheered, their hearts filled with joy and gratitude. Nuru felt a deep sense of accomplishment and pride. He knew that this was just the beginning of many more discoveries to come. As the night grew darker and the fire crackled warmly, Nuru turned to Aran and Asha. "I wonder what else we can create," he said, his eyes shining with curiosity. Aaron laughed. The world is full of possibilities, Nuru. As long as we keep our minds open and work together, there's no limit to what we can achieve. Asha nodded in agreement. Let's continue our journey of discovery and see where it takes us. And so, Nuru, Asha, and Aaron set off on new adventures, their hearts filled with wonder and excitement. They traveled to distant lands, learned from different cultures, and brought back new ideas to their village. The invention of the wheel was just the beginning of their incredible journey, and they knew that as long as they had each other, they could overcome any challenge and create a brighter future for all. The end.